Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here. Day one of the public closed midnight alpha is now in the books, and I want to talk to you guys about how Warlock actually feels gameplay-wise. Now that we had a day or so, I had a bit longer thanks to Blizzard giving me early access to alpha to test out all the specs and stuff, but I want to look at it more in combat now that we've locked in on some builds and things, and just give my general thoughts on how the class and specs function. Now, this is not going to be a feedback video. I'm going to make that video probably in a few days, but I want to just give y'all a general look at how things function in combat and expand, well, upon most of that. Hey, heads up, guys. Also, we are less than 5,000 subs away from 100K on the YouTube channel. If you guys aren't subbed and would consider doing so, that would mean the world to me. Shameless plug, but it is what it is. We're getting close. If you can hit it by the end of the year, phenomenal. If not, that's okay too. But regardless, I appreciate y'all's support. Okay, so we're gonna start off here. I'm playing Affliction first, so let's start off with Aff. We're gonna break it down into Aff, Demo, and Destro, different sections, all that, and well, go from there. At the same time, so I know that people's biggest concern, or a lot of concerns around many classes, is I guess just them. What's the word? Sort of like just pruning abilities, combining abilities, and lessening the overall toolkit that different specs and classes have. Playstyle wise. Now, as far as like Destro's concerned, I don't think Destro's really changed much at all. I had the same amount of buttons for the most part. Demo a bit less, and Aff has gotten a pretty big overhaul, but I do want to briefly show you guys as far as like, I don't know why I set my bars here, as far as like what my bars look like on retail comparatively to PTR. I'll do this for each spec, but so there might seem like a lot of gaps in my bars here as far as what keybinds I have, what I'm playing, so on and so forth. There's actually not a crazy amount when it comes to Affliction, and the ones I'm missing, honestly, I'm sort of okay with. So I'll use Ritual of Summoning to fill in holes in spots that I have keybinds of non-Warlock relevance. For example, this is my potion here on retail. This is Stone Form. Right here is Gateway Control Shard. So it might seem like there's gaps in my raw keybinds here, but there's not really a whole lot. This is typically Curse of Tongues. I just don't have it bound. It's talent. It's not in game yet, so that's that. When it comes to these buttons here, I had Soul Rot bound here, I think I had Haunt bound like on T, and I had a macro on E that was used for raiding. My guild is dead now. For those who don't know, Tim already blew up finally, unfortunately, but I'm gonna search for a new guild. But regardless, the only real buttons that I'm missing here, I also have something bound here on retail, I forgot what it is, but realistically is like Phantom Singularity and Soul Rot. And at the same time, I had a keybind on 2 empty for a while. I think I had Siphon Life there, so it's something from retail, or Oblivion. I never hit it. So as far as like what Aff losing keybind wise, it's not a crazy amount. Toolkit wise, not a whole lot. I'm losing Singularity and I'm losing Soul Rot. But at the same time, Soul Rot has sort of become, it has just become Dark Harvest, right? Obviously, Rapture is gone. Unstable Affliction takes that place. So you're losing 2 to 3-ish buttons, give or take, but it's not a crazy amount. Now, for those that don't know, I made some videos on it, but Affliction is no longer Malefic Rapture based. It is Unstable Affliction based. We are back to spending our shards on Unstable Affliction in single target, and Seed of Corruption is back with Sow the Seeds in AOE. So we'll look at basically like a single target opener here, I guess general single target opener rotation, and look at AOE as well. So now, bear with me because PTR or Alpha is a bit finicky at this point, but regardless, I think we have enough leeway here. No one's really on right now. I haven't seen it crash in an hour. We can sort of look at things. So we'll look, once again, the feedback video will be more of a this weekend kind of thing, but even rotationally, I think Affliction feels good. But there's a couple things that concern me, and it sort of revolves around the way Unstable Affliction is being stacked right now on targets. Now, this might change. Even if it doesn't, we need some way, I think, to track individual Unstable Affliction iterations. The way it used to work in Battle for Azeroth and Legion was when you applied UA, is a max of 5. Same thing here, there's a max of 5 on one target. You would see individual Unstable Afflictions. So you'd see, UA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the nameplate, and you can see the individual durations of every single UA. That's not the case anymore. What happens now is whenever I apply a UA, there's one. When I apply another one, it shows a stat count. I can't see the remaining duration of the first UA here. It's hidden under this. Watch it expire, like now. I can't see the UA. So when it comes to abilities like Cascading Calamity, trying to see when can I cast a UA to refresh my UA, to basically refresh my haunt buff or my haste buff without clipping or overextending past that 5 stack, I can't see the one that's going to expire first. To a similar extent, when I have procs like Fatal Echo, or not Fatal Echoes, but cloying, there's something in here, shared instability, that gives me a free Unstable Affliction. How long Do I have to sit on the actual buff until I can cast the UA again? I don't know. If I'm on the move, am I going to clip a UA with 1 second on it or 5 seconds left? I don't know. So one big thing here is a bit of feedback, but either way, we'll hit on it more in the next feedback video as well. We need to have some way where if that happens and you apply Unstable Affliction when you have 5 active, maybe somehow it adds the remaining damage onto the one that you sort of like erased to the one you cast. Or you can increase the cap of UAs to 6 or 7. Probably the better way to do this is just say, hey, if you apply like a 6th UA theoretically when 5 are active and the first one's going to expire in a second, it takes the remaining damage of the first UA you put up and adds it to the new one. So let's say the first UA has like 1 second on it and it will deal 2,000 more damage on the last tick. When I apply that, essentially 6th UA, it takes the remaining damage of the first UA it's going to expire, that 2,000 damage, adds it to the last one. So instead of that 6th UA doing 11,853 damage, it does 13,853. You know what I mean? Something like that, because it makes abilities like Shared Instability, Cascading Calamity, other effects in general where you need to watch your UA timers very, very hard to play with. And I don't want a screen full of bars counting down for UAs when I'm playing. It's not very fun. So that's my number one thing. Let's look at it rotationally. So as far as the opener is concerned, we're not playing the Nathrezir talents here, the ones that summon Dreadlords. They're very cool, but I'm not 90 yet, so I don't have all the talents available. I could pull out of here to show you guys stuff, but, we've seen it in the first videos and stuff too. So opener-wise, I'm going to precast a Haunt into an Agony, a Wither, or a Corruption. Dump some UAs. You can see the UA stacking. There's 1. There's 2, there's Cascading Calamity, there's 3, only have 3 shards, no big deal. Hit my Dark Lair, hit my Dark Harvest, hit Malevolence in between that, or maybe right there, and have it channel down. Now, there's some kind of like bug or weird interaction between Dark Harvest and like casting spells. There's a Malefic Grasp proc there as well, through that Shadow Bolt right there, where you can like cast a spell in between the Dark Harvest like cast of the ability, and then the channel going off. Dark Harvest cast in a very odd manner where it sort of like fires up the spell, you cast Dark Harvest, and then it channels down. I think we should probably remove that initial like Dark Harvest channeling or cast effect and just have it so whenever it procs or you hit it, it just channels the spell, similar to like a Drain Soul, right? Yeah, there's a Malefic Grasp there. I had to catch my Agony, wasn't paying attention, but no big deal. You guys get the gist of it, right? The main thing here, like we're watching you start Cascading Calamity, there's no way to track the buff now with the in-game tracker and such, but they're going to add more to that, so I'm not too worried about it at this point. But the big thing here is, I think, like trying to juggle shards here for UA management. I have basically Dark Harvest up again now, so I want to show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to cast my Haunt, just refresh dots here, no big deal, not going for optimal damage here. Put up some UAs, 1, 2, 3. Watch my cast here of Dark Harvest and Malevolence. So I'm going to hit Dark Harvest now. I can hit Malevolence in between when it's channeling down, and it just goes off. So I don't know if it's like an oversight or just maybe a unique feature of it. Likely a bug. But that initial cast of Dark Harvest, when I hit it and it goes like Dark Harvest, when it's channeling up, and then it ticks, it basically starts draining down like Drain Soul. I think we should remove that part of it's like I'm building up my harvest and I'm draining it down, because it feels like it's sort of clunky. And having just like the Dark Harvest harvesting effect feels good, but it's just a weird kind of like cadence that I'm not really used to, and it makes things a little awkward. But the ability itself is very cool, and I like it. Rotationally and single target, it feels pretty good. There's windows where you're going to want to like you're going to want to like hold UAs for a damage window for your Dark Lair. Dark Lair is bugged currently. It's not extending UAs. Like watch this duration here when I hit my Dark Lair. No extension. That'll be fixed at some point. I believe Dark Harvest is bugged too with UA, so they'll typically last a lot longer in your opener. But honestly, in single target, it feels pretty good. I think there's a bit of a skill ceiling when it comes to UA-based AF in single target and fishing for Malefic Grasp procs. Like, I think they actually just consumed one there. Might be a bit of a bug, but maybe like pooling a shard or two around your UA, keeping an eye on your Cascading Calamity effect if you're playing it, but trying to wait to see if you get like a Malefic Grasp proc. Like for example, I'm fishing a bit here, put up a UA, fishing a bit. Maybe I'll get a proc at some point. Maybe I won't. No idea. But let's say I get a proc like refresh Agony here. Say I get one like now. Just throw a couple UAs out. Sure, right there. There's a Grasp proc. Throw some UAs and grasp it down, because whenever you cast Malefic Grasp, it takes 30% of the UA damage or all your dot damage and basically deals it to the target. So if you can have multiple UAs rolling, sort of like queue a Grasp up, obviously better. Similar to like Deathbolt almost back in BFA. Not the same, different, but there's that. There's also a world where I don't love the way Malefic Grasp functions because it's a bit buggy. It's consuming, I think, both stacks whenever I hit one. Yeah, so there's that. I don't love when I'm just sitting here, like spamming Shadow Bolt as my filler, like I usually do, just spamming it, whatever, just smacking it, not paying attention to like, you know, exact procs. Like this happens, where I don't realize a Grasp procs because it transforms your Shadow Bolt. So I hit it, but then I'm like spell queuing a Shadow Bolt and I get like 2/3 of my Grasp cast in and it cancels the cast. So there are macros to get around this where it's like a stop channel macro or whatever. I think Shadow Priest use it. You can just make that as well. But that feels like something we shouldn't need to do for the ability. So maybe we can separate Malefic Grasp as an ability from Shadow Bolt if Blizz is okay with doing that. It might not be too it might not be like too much, even with them like pruning abilities down. So let's say, hey, I'm just casting Shadow Bolts or whatever. There's that, blah, blah, blah. I see I get a Grasp proc and my Malefic Grasp button lights up. So now I can hit the Grasp and then realize, okay, Grasp is here, don't interrupt it, then begin casting Shadow Bolt again. And it removes the issue of like, oh, I'm just casting Shadow Bolts mindlessly. Oh, I interrupted my Malefic Grasp. So that's basically that. But rotationally and single target, honestly, I'd say it feels pretty fluent. I'm not really used to my keybinds yet, but it does remind me a lot of Legion F. You're just dumping UAs on a target. Some skill ceiling there with like saving UAs and pooling, whatever. Dark Harvest is sick. Cool 1 minute button, you can just smash for a bit of extra damage. And besides that, you're just filling spells, watching UAs, watching Cascading Calamities if you end up playing it. It's fun. It feels good. Feels engaging. If you're maintaining your haunts and things properly, Malefic Grasp out there feels great. You can get random Dreadlord spawning in, which is super sick. Shifting gears here and taking a look at Affliction and AOE, this is where I really enjoy AF. There are some concerns with the actual spec tree itself. I'm also playing full Nathra Zero talents here and stuff to show you guys Dreadlords. It's pretty cool if you haven't seen it already. When I am building a tree over here with like not this filled in, so I'm not max level or anything yet, when I'm using the appropriate number of points in the actual spec tree itself to try and build an AOE build, this is the case for every spec. It sort of feels like there's almost too many points I need to commit to an AoE build to like fully fill in the tree, and then I'm lacking in like single target damage. Now, that might change based on UA's power and everything, I don't know. But regardless, I want to show you guys what a pretty normal a seed based build of Affliction will look like in combat. So now the way we spread Agony is by just hitting Agony itself. It spreads like Twin Moons. I wouldn't mind some other way to maintain Agony. I like the Twin Moons playstyle. I think it's better than Vitality overall with like the shard economy taken into account. But I do think it's become a bit annoying in like heavier AoE and things, or just in general trying to maintain Agonies when you're still like doing other stuff in M+. I wouldn't mind like maybe if you added a way for Seed to extend Agonies by a second or two, like maybe like a second per Seed pop because So is back. You could do that. A bit of an additional way to help maintain Agony wouldn't be bad. The spreading with, Twin Moons, shared Agony is solid. I wouldn't mind like a Shadow Crash, obviously, but it's fine. Shared Agony is okay, not complaining. But maybe some way to like maintain it a bit easier would be helpful as well. But also Dark Harvesting is a little buggy with UAs now, so it might be a little, yeah. Either way, so this is where AF gets super fun. So let's say we're running into a pack and plus, you're going to cast like a Seed. Let me turn my volume a bit here, because Warriors tearing everything up. There we go. Cast your Seed, throw out a UA on your target, spread some Agonies. Agony. Look for other Agony right there. Basically, got 4 or 5 rolling. Depending what you want to do here, if you want to roll some UAs, you can. There's a Dreadlord spawning in for some, like, spread cleave, whatever. Besides that, throw some seeds. Throw a seed. You can Dark Lair, obviously. Hit your Dark Harvest, Malevolence, flare everything up, and just, honestly, Seed. Instant cast Seed, double Seed, throw 5 seeds out. When you end up queuing, or when you're casting a Seed and get an instant cast Seed proc, and you're basically when the hard cast Seeds cast finishes, and you end up casting like the instant cast one, it essentially like shoots them like 6 seeds out at once, and it looks super sick. It's super cool. Low key, the shard gen is pretty wild with AF and AoE. I'm just casting Seed over and over. I haven't done anything else, but there's a world where you can spread a bit of unstable afflictions if you want, due to things like cloying power here, which gives you more damage per UA you have spread on different targets. So depending on where it all shapes up and evolves tuning wise, it might be worth throwing UAs on a couple of different mobs. I'm praying nameplates evolve more because they're sort of hard to click, honestly. When it comes to like stacking and things, I have trouble clicking these, and It's a little annoying, but at the same time, dude, these Dreadlords are sick. Having a Haunt active spawns these in on targets with Wither or Corruption on them, super sick. Visually, actually looks insane. And like, if you enjoyed playing the Seed playstyle of AF back in the day, dude, it's so sick. It's so cool. Seed spam, UAs, all that. It's actually insane. Super, super cool. Super fun. And also, Dark Harvest gives you a button you can hit every minute to sort of like, yeah, hey, bit of extra damage, bit of a funnel spell in a sense. Channel these down, heal yourself a bit. Spawn in some more Dreadlords via having Haunt active, and that feels really good in AoE. I think, at least. A bit more help with Agony maintenance would be nice, but they're falling, hit Agony, hit Agony, hit Agony, and they basically refresh on their own. So not as bad as it may seem, but I'm swimming in shards at this point. Now, when it comes to Destruction Warlock, honestly, not much has really changed rotationally. There are some new talents and things. We're going to hit on the capstones a good bit in the feedback video. I'm not a huge fan of like the Rift and the Overlord talents and this stuff here. I get the like premise behind it, but I think it just doesn't really work with what we have currently on retail and how we're losing certain things. We'll get into that this weekend, but I want to show baseline combat. Now, the thing is, honestly, if you play Destruction Warlock in single target, you've pretty much played the alpha with Destro Warlock and single target. This is an AoE build here. I'll show AoE first and we'll shift back to single target. Builds aren't saving much, and it's annoying having to redo my bars a bunch, but the cool thing about Destruction, you have literal Sargeras Titan lasers being shot down whenever you're doing single target spells, Incinerate, or AoE, I mean, like Fire and Brimstone. Chaos Bolt Arena Fire through the later part of Embers also give you the lasers, so it's very, very sick. You maintain a very high uptime on Embers of Nihilum, which is a crit and haste buff. Super strong, super solid. It's almost a permanent uptime. It might get tuned at some point, but the big changes to AoE here, there's Lake of Fire, which, depending where it's at tuning-wise, you might play it. It's a talent that is a ground-placed effect, like Firestorm for Evokers. And honestly, it sounds really cool. The visual is a bit of a little letdown. I wish it was like a red, like Defile, like DKs have, but it's more like a cracked ground, like older kind of animation. But regardless, the main thing with Lake of Fire is it sort of feels like it's a ground effect, and things are going to get pulled out of it, and that's frustrating, a bit disappointing playstyle wise. Believe me, we have to deal with it with Rain of Fire a bunch already. We're going to have it here too. I'm going to change this to being cast on my targets. I don't have my macro on here, but that's fine. Besides that, we're playing a couple different talents here when it comes to Rain of Fire. So we're playing Destructive Rapidity, which has Rain of Fire tick more often or do damage quicker but not reduce the duration of Rain of Fire. And we're playing Alith's whatever Ire, which is basically a free Rain of Fire cast, like 1 in 5 chance over 8 seconds, whatever. Yeah, so that's not bad. Besides that, honestly, it's very similar, and I'm being real, like, it's sort of the same thing. The big thing, or the big change for maintaining Withers or Immolates, though, is Roaring Blaze. Conflagrating a target that has Immolate or, Wither on it already will spread the Immolate or Wither or refresh them. Channel Demon Fires down here, the extension clause is gone. This will not be played probably anywhere unless it's way overtuned, because that clause is why you played it initially. But regardless, I want to show you what looks like an AoE. Tally just died to the dummy. My man. All right. Anyways, so to show how Roaring Blades works, we'll put up Wither and we'll conflagrate it and watch it spread. See, it spreads here and here. There's that. Hit it again. It spreads to those. So there's that. We are still playing Cataclysm, so that works too. Oh, he's back. Look at that. So we cast Cata, put our Infernal down, hit our Malevolence, whatever, and cast Rain of Fire. Now, I gotta target this. That right there is a Sargeras Titan laser right there. That big, like, Shadow Flame AoE effect, that is that Titan laser from our Apex talent. That explosion right there in the ground, Apex talent. Cast it again here, another Apex talent. They crash down quite often. I haven't seen if green fire changes the color of lasers yet. I can't copy my character over it now. It seems to be broken, but, like, visually, Destro and AoE is already pretty sick with Rain of Fire is raining down a bunch. It happens even more. It looks even cooler, right? Every once in a while you get a free Rain of Fire cast, like right there, so you can go rain into rain. Obviously, if I wanted to spread these, I'd be conflagrating more, but it's whatever. You just recata. Cast them Incinerates, and you just keep spamming Rain of Fire. If you played Destro and AoE over the past, honestly, man, a few expansions, it's sort of the same thing, but it's juiced up. It looks better. Like, the Sargeras visuals are super sick. I think they're a little buggy because some of the lasers spawn in behind me and, like, half twirl and are really visually, like, cool looking, and some like sort of spawn in but aren't super animated and then just crash down. So honestly, they're crazy cool regardless now, and depending on where it goes, if they're gonna fix it, make it look even better, hey, I'm down for it. I will say when it comes to conflict rates, like spreading and maintaining withers emulates, it's not super smart. Sometimes you just refresh as a wither that's already active, or like, you know, a more recent one compared to this. Like that one's just going to expire, and it refreshed this one twice. So maybe some more logic is needed there to like check for lower duration around whatever emulate or wither target you have. But yeah, for the most part, if you play Destro in AOE, it's pretty much the same thing. When it comes to single target, I mean, I'd change this build a little bit. So it's worth mentioning Shadowburn is not going to be in this form, which is the form you have on retail right now, in a matter of a week or two, depending on talent builds. Blizzard has stated that they're changing it, so it's only castable on mobs below, I believe, below 20% health or something like that. This is the wrong talent, but that there, sure. Below 20% health, and this talent right here will say, I think Chaos Bolt or Incinerate, something like that, gives you a chance to cast Shadowburn for free at any health threshold on a mob. The cooldown on Shadowburn also will be removed, apparently, which was mentioned in the patch notes. I'm not sure if it's going to end up being, or how it's going to end up working out, but that does indeed appear to be what they're looking to do with it. I'm not sure how it's going to land long term, but that's that. So not on this current build yet. When it is in, we'll test with it and see where it goes, but there's that. I got to remove these points here to show the full single target build because, well, need disabilities. Now, as far as it's concerned, once again, if you played Destro, you played Destro. You put up a Wither, you conflagrate, put your Infernal down, cast Chaos Bolts, and you're basically going from there. If you Hellcaller, pop your Malevolence, cast some bolts, cool. Conflagrate does have 3 charges, which is super sick. At the same time, this talent down here, whenever you cast a Dimensional Rift or a Soulfire, Soulfire guarantees a spawn of an Overlord. I thought this is whenever you casted a Rift, you got an Overlord. It's only when you open a Chaos Tear, one of the 3 rifts, which is really crazy. Not in a good way, probably. So I'm gonna hit my Rift here. Hit Rift. No Overlord. Hit Rift. No Overlord. Hit Rift. We got an Overlord. There's been times that I've pulled 2 Overlords out of spamming all 3 rifts at once. I don't think there's an ICD on it, but you have to roll Chaos Rift every time to spawn an Overlord. If you open the purple one, no Overlord. If you open the non-Chaos Rift green one, no Overlord. We'll hit on that feedback-wise in a few days. I'm not a huge fan of that personally. I get like the idea behind it, but I don't think it's really like it doesn't really work, I don't think. So there's that. If you've seen Destro in single target, you've seen it everywhere. The last thing that I want to hit on for Destro, like as far as playstyle is concerned, we need some way to tell how many partial shards we have. Demo and Aff don't got to worry about it. Destro has partial shards. I need to be able to tell what exact shard count: 2.1, 2.0, 1.9, 3.6, 4.0. The casting and Incinerate's going to put me at. The casting and Conflagrate's going to put me at. I can't tell if this is 1.8 or 1.9. It's probably 4.9, probably. Sure. When I spend here, I can't tell, like, is this 1.6 or 1.5? I think this is 1.7, 1.8. I can't tell. We got to have some way to be able to read numerically what the partial shard values are. Without that, this is just like, it just feels a bit convoluted. So if you're going to change weak wars and things, maybe it's a weak war we can still use. I'm not sure, but we got to figure that out in the baseline UI or something along those lines. Okay, Demonology in single target and AOE. My bars look pretty empty here. But similar to Affliction and Destro, let me grab some Ritual Summoning. So basically, I'll fill in holes on my bars that are other items and things I have on retail that aren't like abilities that I lost, essentially, just to sort of show what the toolkit looks like keybind wise and stuff compared to where I'm at on retail. I typically have a trinket here. This is Potion, this is Stone Form, this is Gateway Control Shard. This is a macro that I used for raiding, which, you know, not anymore. This is typically weakness, or I think this is tongues. We can only get one of the 2 right now, but we'll see where that goes. So I basically have lost like 3 to 4 buttons for Demonology. Now, Destro feels the same. Aff feels, I think, fine. I wouldn't mind separating Shadowbolt and Malefic Grasp into 2 different keybinds that we talked about already, but Demonology feels like it maybe could have 1 more button. I'm okay with Demo. It has been simplified. People are gonna maybe not everybody will love the 9 Wild Imp max count and all that kind of stuff. I like the I have Gul'dan playstyle that they've done with Hand of Gul'dan and stuff, but it does feel like I wouldn't mind having like Demonic Strength back or Bioscourge Bombers, the hybrid node somewhere. That'd be cool. I currently here, I guess on retail, I have Grimoire Felguard, gone. Here I have Demonic Strength, gone. Here I have Vile Fiend, which has been basically made a passive. Whenever you cast your Dreadstalkers, you get a Vile Fiend and spawns in. or a Charhound or a Purple Dog, whatever you call it, right? So like I'm fine with, I don't mind that. Actually, I think it's pretty solid. But I wouldn't mind having another button that feels like cooldown-esque in addition to like Tyrant, right? Destro has Rifts or Soulfire and Infernal and all that. Aff has like Malefic Grass procs and Dark Harvest and Dark Lair. Demo really just has like Tyrant. But if you had Strength or something like that that actually did damage, that'd be cool. Wouldn't mind that. So maybe Strength can come back at some point, but we'll see. It's probably a hot topic in itself. But either way, so if you're playing Demo here, right? Power Siphon sacrifices 3 imps now. Not 2. It can sack Ancient Imps. So opener-wise, I mean, honestly, if you play Demo, it's still pretty similar, but it changes a bit due to Eye of Gul'dan stuff. So we're going to Siphon here, get 3 cores so we pull the boss. Shards are right here. It's important to keep in mind that we have a max of 9 Wild Imps. Ancient Imps, however, don't count towards that. So we're going to cast Dogs, Hand of Gul'dan, build the 5 here probably, sure, why not? Hand of Gul'dan, Shadow Bolt, Hand of Gul'dan. I'm at max imps. I'm gonna Tyrant. There's your Tyrant. What you got? This is the non-armor plated one. We're at range here. I'm at 3 shards. Hand of Gul'dan has become Eye of Gul'dan. I'm hitting Eye of Gul'dan. Big green zap. Cast Dogs, Charhounds, or I guess Purple Dogs and melee still fighting there. There's 2 Vile Fiends active right now, which is very cool actually. Previously you didn't have that, but Tyrant extensions and a shorter cooldown being tied to Dreadstalkers enables that. Eye of Gul'dan, will zap. Little zap. There we go. Little zap again. I think imps are going to start expiring relatively soon here, so you should see my Eye of Gul'dan transform back into Hand of Gul'dan pretty soon here. Maybe another zap right in between here, give or take. There's a Ruination coming in. Drop that down. That does seem to work pretty well with Eye of Gul'dan, Hand of Gul'dan swapping and stuff. I haven't seen a world where it's like lost the proc due to like eye and hand swapping. At the same time, these imps are still alive. They've been alive for a very long time. That's the first set still. Now we do indeed have Hand of Gul'dan back. Once that expired, cast a hand. Bam. There's a whole new set. You cannot cast Hand of Gul'dan unless you have 3 shards. 2 shard hands, 1 shard hands are a thing of the past. Cast a 3rd hand right here. We Tyrant. I lost my dogs, wasn't looking. No big deal. Typically, you don't lose those. Regardless, though, that's basically it. So you can see, like, it is pretty simple. You gotta sort of try to scuff a Tyrant. Your Vile Fiends attached to your Dreadstalkers now. Your Imps last a literal eternity. I mean, your Imps last 40 seconds in combat, and that's not including Tyrant extension. Tyrant gives an additional 15 seconds. Like, basically, I mean, your imps last 55 seconds, and Tyrant's a minute cooldown, so you really don't cycle sets of imps that often. If you're used to like that master summoner, mass summoning imps setting over and over and over in single target, you don't really do it as much anymore. You're more built into like this Eye of Gul'dan zap playstyle with still having imps down, still having dogs passively summoning in your Gloomhound or Charhound, and you know, Tyranting a minute. I will say that our Apex talents aren't working. This summons a 3rd dog, which is very cool, and this summons a Soul Keeper, which is very cool. I would assume visually as well. Whenever you cast demonic cores, it increases the chance to proc and will eventually spawn in. It's not working, so I can't really show you that. But Demo single target is fine. But it does leave me sort of wanting like one more thematic button I can hit, one more thematic element, because like, don't get me wrong, hitting Eye of Gul'dan is cool when you hit your max imp count and all that stuff, but I do wish I had like one more button somewhere. Something else thematic for single target. And to be fair, Demonic Strength isn't like incredibly thematic, but I mean, you know what I mean? Because like at a certain point, it's like, all right, I summoned 9 imps and now I'm sitting here for a minute just casting Eye of Gul'dan and Shadow Bolts. And that's fine, but like, you know what I mean? Like losing out on Grimoire, losing out on Demonic Strength, losing out on casting Vile Fiend has changed things a good bit rotationally. However, if we shift gears here and look at AOE, Demo AOE is a lot of fun. It's typically always been a lot of fun. I mean, it's been fun anyways in AOE, but it's a lot of fun. So like, you're pulling out of Ancient Imps and Siphon here. We're grabbing Summon Doomguard, which Implosion gives you a baseline 10% chance to summon a Doomguard. Whenever you whenever you implode, 1 in 10 chance, but every single imp you implode gives you an additional 10% chance. You can have a max of 9 wild imps, so if you implode 9 imps, you're getting a Doomguard, guaranteed. Every time. Explosive Core causes Demon Bolts to just explode and do damage whenever they hit. You're playing things like Imp Gang Boss, getting more cores back from ED here as well. Tyrant is armor plated in melee, thrashes around, improved Implosion. Implosion does damage again, right? Which is cool. So that builds upon, like, I think Demo's AoE on retail now. It makes it a bit more exciting. I also think having, like, Charhound attached to your dogs here feels better in AoE than, like, you know, Gloomhound and single target. But once again, let's go. Also, if you talent out of Ancient Imps, they still stay around. Yeah. So like if you're going into a pack and plus or just whatever, right? Honestly, just cast dogs, throw dogs. Charhound spawns in. He's gonna leap in. Just build some shards, man, or I guess build some imps, however you want to word it. I might not be able to get all of them into this tyrant based on refunds here. I'm just gonna tyrant now. It's fine. 6 imps is whatever. Sure. I've missed dogs anyways. Doesn't matter. I have low haste in alpha. It doesn't matter. But point being, I'm at 9 imps now. Watch me implode. Cast dogs first. Watch me implode. Doomguard, there he is. Now, he is bugged right now and only casting 1 Shadow Bolt and not a volley, but still, pretty sick. Guess what? He's going to expire in a second or 2 here, give or take. If I can target a mob, these nameplates are really killing me right now, I promise you. But it's okay. Cast a Handy Gul'dan. I'm back at 9 imps. Implode. There's a Doomguard. Cast dogs, cast a bolt, and a Gul'dan. Bolt. And a Gul'dan, cast a Shadow Bolt, build back to 3 shards here. Honestly, right about the time he expires, I can implode 9 imps again. Implode. I don't remember Ruination right there. I think my implosion might have munched the Ruination. I couldn't really tell. But either way, maybe a bug. But cast dog, spawns a Charhound in. But once again, it does sort of leave me feeling like I want something else. I wouldn't mind hitting bombers every half a minute. I wouldn't mind hitting strength every minute, right? Having 1 extra button to hit for Demonology. It does feel like Destruction's in a spot where it feels the same as retail. If you played it on retail, it feels the same. Affliction is new with UA Spender, and Seed Spam feels great, very fluid, very just fast-paced, good playstyle overall. I do wish that Demo had like 1 more button. I have Gul'dan as well in single target, or an AOE doesn't really do much. Yeah, that was Big Mommy spawning and an AOEing. That wasn't I had Gul'dan AOEing. So yeah, but I mean, we'll see where it goes. Either way, I do prefer the way that Demo feels a lot more in AOE than it does in single target. They're both fine, both cool, a lot of thematic elements, but it does leave me feeling like I wish there was something else there, some other small ability or effect that I could play with that, well, you know, make it feel just a little bit better. But we'll see. 1 zap for the road. 1 zap. There you go. So, thanks for watching, guys. Wraps it up. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you, I don't know, enjoyed the deep dive into, I guess, Warlock initial combat on Alpha. Day 1, I guess Day 2, depending what it is. Servers have been up and down a lot over the past day or so. I haven't really gotten a chance to do any dungeons. I wanted to do them today, and they all went down for a few hours. So, I guess today, when this video comes out on stream, probably try and do some. Hopefully we can get in there. Blizzard has stated they're going to be improving the UI elements a lot still. Damage meters are in-game, but they're not working. I will say we did some raid testing today very briefly when they came up initially, the servers, and the actual like boss ability tracker looked really good. I am hopeful. I'm nervous like everybody else is for UI improvements and stuff. There's no dot tracking currently, which really scares me for Affliction, and dot-based classes in general, but I have hope that Blizzard will figure it out, and the fact that they're rolling it all out now, day 1 of alpha, gives me a bit more hope that, hey, maybe feedback-wise, we'll have things to go off of in the next few builds, and yeah, we'll go from there. So, thanks for watching, guys. If you liked the video, hit the like and sub button below. Helps out a ton. We're less than 5K subs away from 100K on YouTube, which is mind-boggling. I don't know how the channel is this big, but I appreciate it, guys. Thank you all so much for all support. Speaking of support, thank you for everybody on Patreon. All support there as well, guys. I greatly appreciate it also. If you're looking at supporting on Patreon, there should be a link up here, as well as down below in the description. And it is a bit early into alpha and stuff, but the alpha Warlock spreadsheet will indeed be going live in probably a couple weeks, give or take. The Patreon rank of tier 3 Felguard or higher does get early access to that, but it goes live public regardless for the, you know, everything comes out and stuff in probably February, I'm guessing, for the expansion release. So we'll see where it goes, but thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch y'all again soon on stream. Peace.